Hello everyone. In the last video, we had studied that in practical situations, we have to consider the rigid bodies around us. And for understanding the motion of these rigid bodies, we have to introduce a concept which is called as center of mass. In the last video, I had given you a simple definition of center of mass. Now I'll explain and write the complete definition of the center of mass. So if we have a rigid body, suppose this is the rigid body, and we consider a point in the rigid body, and we suppose that at this point the whole mass of the body is concentrated. So here at O, suppose the whole mass of the body is concentrated, right? Then this point is called as center of mass. Now, what is the need of center of mass and how do we define it technically? So, center of mass has a very important significance in the motion of a rigid body, that when this rigid body moves, right? So, this point O also moves along with the rigid body, and it is not possible for us to apply the forces at each and every individual point of the body. So that's why this concept was introduced. We consider a point O where the whole mass is concentrated and its behavior is, or you can say its motion is same as that of the total body. So what is center of mass? It is the point where the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. And what is the significance of this point? Or you can say what is the significance? So if we consider this point separately, this is the body with normal distribution of the masses, and this is the point O has the total mass. So we consider these two to be equivalent. Equivalent means its motion is same as motion of O. Mass of body is equal to mass of O point, and this motion is same if the forces are same in both the cases. So if we look at this, we can say that the characteristic of center of mass is that it moves in the same way as the whole body if we consider that this point has the same mass as that of the total body, and this point is under the effect of the same forces as that of the body. So I hope this is looking very clear. So here I can write down same force. Suppose force is here, same force is here, same mass is there in the total body, and same mass is there, then these motions are equivalent. So this is the significance of center of mass. There is one more concept which is called as center of gravity, which I'll just mention it. Center of gravity. You know, gravity is the gravitational force of Earth. So if we have any object, suppose any object, let's consider it to be sphere, right? So at this, if we consider the weight to be acting on it, we consider that it's acting at this point A, suppose, right? So center of gravity is the point at which the weight of the body acts. So the point which the weight of the body acts, right? Here this is sphere, so sphere is a symmetrical figure object. So for symmetrical bodies, center of gravity is equal to center of mass for symmetrical bodies, right? But for unsymmetrical bodies, the center of gravity and center of mass may be different. So for unsymmetrical, let's take another example. This is example 1. So example 2, suppose this is the body, right? So this is unsymmetrical. So it's not necessary that center of mass may not be equal. Mostly center of mass is not equal to center of gravity, right? Because this is unsymmetrical. So not necessary. That Cm is equal to Cg. So this occurs in most of the cases. So this is not equal to Cg in most of the cases for unsymmetrical bodies. So this was about the basic concept of center of mass, why it is required, because we cannot consider the whole body and we cannot apply all the forces at every point of the body. So we need an equivalent point where we consider that all the forces are acting, and then we treat it in the same way as we had treated the cases up to chapter 6, right? So let's take how to calculate the center of mass. What is the formula for center of mass? So this is center of mass of a two particle system. Let's consider a planar system. For example, here let's take an example in 2D. Two-dimensional means I'm just showing the diagram. This is X, this is Y. If I have 2 points which are having masses m1, m2, and I have to find the center of mass point of these two masses. So if I say that this point has coordinate x1, y1, and this point has coordinate x2, y2, we know that this line joining will be called as position vector r1. For this point, I am marking this as point A and B. and for point A the position vector I am considering is r2 vector, right? And let's say for example here somewhere we have center of mass. So this is the center of mass I am marking, and let's mark the position vector of the center of mass as RCM vector, right? So this is the diagram. Now for such cases we just need to remember the formula directly, that XCM, if I am saying that this center of mass has coordinate XCM and YCM, right? Then XCM will be M1 X1 plus M2 X2 upon M1 plus M2. Similarly, YCM will be M1 Y1 plus M2 Y2 upon M1 plus M2. We can generalize the formula. We can write the general formula. General formula can be written like this, that XCM can be written as sigma mx upon sigma m. Similarly, YCM can be written as sigma my upon sigma m, right? And we can write this for this in terms of the position r, position vector r. So we can also write RCM is equal to M1 R1 plus M2 R2 upon M1 plus M2. Now this is the position vector, so I am writing this like this. So this can also be generalized here. This RCM vector can be written as sigma M R vector upon sigma M vector. Now you will say, can't we cancel this m? No, we can't cancel this m, because what does this mean? This means that the product of the mass and the distance is added. These are not, this m is not common. So this product of m and x is there for every point, and then sigma means these are added. So similarly, this m and m cannot be cancelled, this m and m, this and m cannot be cancelled, right? So now we can consider the motion of center of mass. So if you are having this point RCM, so motion of center of mass means it will have the velocity. That means if this is the line, these are the 2 points at the end of this line, right? It has the center of mass here, and if this is moving somewhere, so motion of center of mass will also be there, because this is the center of mass here. So if these 2 points are moving, the center of mass will also move. So we will have motion of the center of mass, that means the velocity of the center of mass also. This can be written as d by dt of RCM, right? And this can be written as, we know that this can be written as sigma m r upon sigma m. Now mass is constant, so this mass can be taken outside. This mass cannot be taken outside because this is in product with r, the products of m and r. So this mass cannot be separated and cannot be taken common. So here this will be written as 1 by sigma m d by dt of m r. So this is just like this case. If you have mass is fixed for every particle, suppose you have 2 r. So what will you, how will you find the velocity? So you will simply find d by dt of 2r, that means d by 2d by dt of r. So for every point you can do like this, but this mass and this mass cannot be cancelled. So this can be written as 1 by sigma m. So this will be for every point, this is sigma again, right? So for every point, this can be written as m dr by dt. We are writing sigma for this product, and this can be written as 1 by sigma m, and this is dr by dt, that is v. So this is sigma m v. So I hope you understood the difference. Why we have not taken this outside? Because we cannot separate m and dr. The sigma of m into dr, m into r will be there. When we are differentiating, m will not be differentiated because it is constant. So dr by dt we are writing, for dr by dt I am writing v. So what is the formula for VCM now? So VCM is what? Is equal to 1 by sigma m, and here sigma m v. So this, if I want to write the suffixes here, if I have taken here two particles, then it will be sigma m1 x1 plus sigma m2 x2 upon sigma upon m1 plus m2. If I have three particles, four particles, I can write all the sums accordingly. So for I number of particles, I can generalize it, right? For I number of particles, I can generalize it, or you can say for n number of particles, I can generalize it. So I'm writing I number of particles, I'm generalizing it, right? So there must be no problem in this. Everywhere I'm writing this is for I number of particles. So this will be, what does it mean? This means m1 v1 plus m2 v2 upon m1 plus m2 and so on, because here this is for I number of particles. So plus so on. And this sigma can be written as total mass also. This can be written as similarly here also everywhere sigma m can be written as total mass, since mass of all the particles will give you the total mass of the body, right? So this was about the velocity of the center of mass. Similarly, we can calculate the acceleration of the center of mass. So I'm rubbing this now. So now I'll take, here we have taken this velocity. Now we'll take acceleration of center of mass. Again, the same method, acceleration of center of mass is equal to d by dt of velocity of center of mass. Now again, as before, I can write d by dt of sigma mi vi upon sigma mi for all the particles everywhere. So that can be written as total mass. Now this I can write again as before. One by sigma mi, and here I can differentiate this sigma mi vi, and this can be written as 1 by sigma mi, and this is mi sigma of mi dvi by dt, and this can also be written as sigma mi and sigma mi into acceleration of ith particle. So ACM is sigma mi ai upon sigma mi. What does it mean? m1 a1 plus m2 a2 plus and so on up to I particles upon m1 plus m2 plus up to mi, right? So this was about the concept of center of mass. We will take the numericals in the next video. That's all for now. Have a nice day.